In today's video, I'm going to share with you why Californians regret moving to Salt Lake City, Utah. And I used to live in Southern California. Then I moved to Nashville, Tennessee. Then I moved here to Salt Lake City, Utah. So I understand some of these things, and I've been putting together a list of what I've been hearing and reading and researching online about. And here we go. Welcome back. I'm Greg Spackman. I'm with the Living in Salt Lake City channel. So if you want to learn everything about what it's like to live here, eat here, sleep here, play here, then click the subscribe button and the bell to be notified every time I do new videos. I've been getting a ton of people that are just like you that are reaching out to me about making that move here to the Salt Lake City area, and I absolutely love it. So if that's you, please give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, heck, send the Pony Express. I'd love to get in touch with you about making that move here to Salt Lake City, Utah. So this list is not in any particular order as far as importance. Just going to share with you, I have a bunch of reasons why Californians regret moving to Salt Lake City, Utah. So the number one thing on my list is traffic. So I think when people moved here from Southern California, Northern California, Central California, they were thinking they were getting away from traffic in general. And while we don't have the same levels of traffic that you have in Los Angeles or San Francisco or a few other areas, just know that we have traffic here. It will take you 15 minutes to 30 minutes longer at rush peak times to get around. However, we do have really good public transportation that you can take if you live in the cities that have the track system to get around without having to actually drive your car. So that's awesome. We have I-15, Bangerter, Mountain View corridor is our main three arteries that are go north and south. East and west, it really just sucks here. We don't have anything good built east to west, although Bangerter does end up going east over to I-15, but we don't have another freeway that we should have somewhere around West Jordan that just cuts all the way over. It would be amazing if we had something. You have the 215, which does help a little bit. The number two thing on my list that people regret here is politics. Utah is still considered a red state. It votes typically pretty Republican on pretty much every election. So if you want to see more liberal policies, Utah may not be the best state to choose. Colorado may be a better option if you're wanting more liberal policies than what Utah offers. Salt Lake City is the most liberal area that you can pick from in Utah. The further out you go, the less liberal it goes. The closer you get to Provo, the more Republican it will go typically. Political side in Salt Lake County is about 50-50. So you're going to have half of the people one way, half of the people another, which I think is a good balance because then you get some good policies passed from both sides and everybody kind of has a get along mentality. Has it been really an issue for us here in Utah as far as which political side is which? It's not like I see it when I go to the grocery store or when I help clients purchase homes. I typically don't get into any sort of political speak anyways. The most that you see really is there'll be some article posted on Facebook, and then you'll have the keyboard warriors just go nuts on Facebook. KSL does something like that, and they post some topic that just gets a ton of comments, and they do it on purpose just to get people going. Both the senators here in Utah are Republican currently. Of the 28 House seats here in Utah, 20 of them are Republican, 8 are Democrat currently. So that kind of touches on the political side. The number three thing that Californians regret moving to Utah over is the alcohol rules here. So Utah has some unique alcohol rules. We have the lowest DUI limit of 0.05. We have some weird rule at the bar for how far kids have to be away from them making mixed drinks. I just went to a Mexican place to eat, and they had this super cool bar setup. This was up in Park City, so it was an awesome place with this cool graphics and super neat place. But anyhow, they had a bar set up front, and I asked them why no one was at the bar, and he said because of the distance that the tables are away, they just have it there for looks. So that seems kind of stupid to me that we have that, but that's part of what you have to deal with. 4% beer can be bought at the gas station or grocery stores and some restaurants. If they applied to have a special license, they can serve up to that. Higher than that, you're going to have to buy it all at the state-run liquor stores, and those have their own issues. They're closed at a certain time. They're closed on Sundays, closed on holidays. Can't buy alcohol after 1 a.m. under any circumstance in Utah. Utah used to have something called the Zion Curtain, where you'd have to have all the alcohol, all the mixing, everything had to be behind something where you couldn't see, and that was changed in 2017. So anyone that tells you do they have the Zion Curtain thing, it's not anymore. Now it's like a 10-foot perimeter or a 42-inch half wall that they can build to separate the drink prepping from the dining spaces. And you're going to see that at different restaurants here in Salt Lake City, just how they have their thing set up. The Chili's has them make drinks around the corner, so that way you can eat in the bar section of Chili's. However, then they have the bar, but then there's nothing there. Once again, it's like a dummy bar. There are places like certain bars where where you have to order food in order to get a drink, and you won't be able to eat with people that are under the age of 21. So, like, there was a bar that we went to in South Jordan not long ago where we wanted to take our kids to eat there and found out that they have to be 21 to go in and eat, even though we were sitting on the patio, and that's how they were categorized. So you just know ahead of time, you got to check some of that stuff out just to make sure. They have a ban on Bloody Marys and mimosas before 12 p.m. So you're not going to have a great brunch as far as that goes if you want either of those drinks during the brunch time. One question I have is, do you think Utah's liquor laws affect tourism here, or people wanting to move to Utah? Could you comment below your thoughts? The number 4 thing people regret moving to Utah is the affordability factor. It used to be really, really affordable to move from California. You used to be able to sell your $8-9 million home, come here, buy something for like $400,000, pocket a ton of money. And now that doesn't happen anymore. If you're selling your $1 million+ home in California, you're probably going to buy a 7, 8, 9 million+ home here, depending upon which city you choose to live in. So you won't pocket as much of a difference as you used to. You still make money moving here, so that's still a plus. You just won't have that same level of money that people used to have. Let's open up my website real quick just to give you a quick idea of what some of the homes are here for sale. All right, so here I am on the spackmangroup.com. Feel free to go check that out. Registered. Shoot me a text or an email. Let me know you're looking so I know that it's you from YouTube. That would make things much better for me. And then here we go for some of the prices. So I just did a random search. These are sorted by newest, all of Salt Lake County. So $1 million home in Holiday, 1.1 in Holiday, Salt Lake City, 1 bedroom, 1 bath, 225. Here's a mobile home, 70,000. So they do have mobile homes. 479, a place in Magna, West Valley City, 759, 1.1, 1.4. You're gonna have all over different prices. So here's something in West Jordan for 500, another 500,000. So that kind of gives you an idea of pricing. You're looking at, I don't know, 400,000 up to a couple $1 million. It really is going to depend upon which city, how much is your budget, that sort of thing. And that's one of the things we go over when we get on our Zoom strategy call. And so that's the affordability piece of it. The number 5 thing that most Californians regret the most about moving to Salt Lake City in general is the LDS church. So if you aren't a member of the church, then a lot of them will have problems with it. I don't know why they have problems with it, but this is just what I've read and found online and seen on Facebook. 50% of the state roughly is of the LDS faith. So about 50% of the state is, and then in certain areas it could be 100%. So it really depends on which city you choose to live in. So if that's important to you or not important to you, it's just something you need to be aware of. I don't really see it as an issue where we live. We live in Harriman, and it doesn't seem to be any sort of issue. Anybody that we run into that is of the LDS faith, they're all super nice and super friendly, welcoming, everything like that. So I don't know where people are seeing it, but maybe in other cities it is a more of an issue. But kids wise, our kids go to school, Nate and Chase, and they don't seem to have any issue at school as well. The number 6 thing on the people's list about Utah, and that would just be they can't go to the beach anymore. So if you like to surf or you like to paddleboard or swim in the ocean or just be around the ocean, go fishing in the ocean, just do anything that has to do with the beach and the ocean. You're not going to have that here. You're going to be driving or flying to California, Oregon, Washington to get that feel, or maybe down to Texas. Just know that we don't have the beach here. And while that doesn't seem to be an issue for me, we can go visit it if we want to. They do have a ton of lakes in Utah. There's something like 2,000 lakes to pick from for you to go to, but some of the ones that are close to Salt Lake City can be full of people if you don't get there early. So that's something that people complain about, is just the amount of people that go to the lakes. The number 7 thing on the list is Utah has a ton of kids. Utah has the highest birth rate in the United States at 14.9 per 1,000 population. So you're going to see a lot of kids here. And so if you were moving here and not expecting to see a ton of children, then Utah could be the wrong place for you. If you have a lot of kids, I have 5 kids. So if you have a lot of kids, then you'll fit right in. Maybe that's why we don't have any issues here. The number 8 thing on people's list is the grid system and the street naming convention. So the way things are named here, it's changing some. We're seeing more and more street names named after names, but when you will see like 11,200 south by 4,000 east. And so that is related to the temple, and there's multiple temples. So when you get to a certain area, it resets and goes a different direction. But just know that eventually that will make a lot of sense to you once you've been here a year or two, and you'll start to figure out, like when someone tells you the coordinates, you'll know like pretty much where that is on the street. So you'd be able to take different ways to get there just based on the naming convention. It doesn't seem to be as useful as maybe it once was, because everybody pretty much uses their mapping system or ways to get around. Just know that the naming convention is something that bugs a lot of people when they first move here until they understand it and kind of give into it. Number 9 on the list, guns. Utah gun laws compared to California gun laws has been an issue for some people. For example, open carry of a loaded pistol without a permit is allowed for anyone aged 21 and up in Utah. So that isn't available in California. Utah does not require a permit to carry a concealed weapon in Utah. Anyone over the age of 21, resident or non-resident, may concealed carry or open carry permitless in Utah. There are certain places where you can't do that, of course, and a few other things, but you'll need to look all that up on your own and make sure that you are being legal as well. But just know that has been an issue for some people when moving to Utah. Number 10 on the list is the lack of nightlife. So people moving from California are used to tons of bars and clubs, and compared to what Los Angeles has, or San Francisco or San Diego, Utah does not rank anywhere near what they have. So if you really want a high-end nightlife in the clubs and everything, we do have clubs and bars and all of that in Utah. They're just not the same level that you have. That's something that has bothered a lot of people, so that's why it's on the list. Number 11 on the list is the weather. So Utah has all 4 seasons. People in California are used to one season, and that's awesomeness. So you are not going to have the same weather that you have in California. We have a real winter time where we actually get snow. I mean, you get snow in California if you go to the mountains, but if you live at the beach or you live anywhere in like Orange County or up in the San Fernando Valley, or up in Northern California, Sacramento area, you don't really get any snow that you have to deal with, or ice or anything like that, where we have that you have to deal with here. So living in Utah, a lot of people didn't know that having an all-wheel drive car was almost a necessity. However, you can get around without it, but I recommend that you have at least one all-wheel drive vehicle. Springtime, I would say spring is really, really nice. It's just really short, and that's just when the winter time ends and we start to melt all the snow that we get, and then it's just an awesome time. It's not super hot and not super cold, so it's a great time of year. Summertime here, it's hotter than it is in California unless you live in Central Valley, and then it's probably hotter there for you than here. We do have something that's awesome that California has, and that's the lack of humidity. So when you sit outside at 7, 8 p.m. at night and you just chill and you're just, outside having your favorite beverage, it's super nice to be outside here. You don't have a ton of bugs either. So what bugs you do have, if you live near like Utah Lake, you can fix that with some things, thermocells and whatnot, to alleviate your mosquito population. But it's super nice, as far as that goes. All the hiking and all your mountain biking and camping and outdoor stuff is all done through, typically starts in late spring and then early fall, maybe fall starts to get a little chilly, but you can still do all your hikes and everything until we start to get a lot of snow. Fall time, we have amazing changing of the leaves. I don't remember seeing anywhere in California that I can remember anywhere where the leaves change and look as gorgeous as they look here. So just know we have all 4 seasons in that. Since we have all 4 seasons here, a lot of people don't like the cold. And so that's what rules Utah out. Like my mom won't move to Utah because she grew up here and hated the cold and wants nothing to do with it. So she stays in warm Southern California and it's nice all year long. Number 12 thing on the list is that it's super dry here, which is partly what makes our snow so awesome in the wintertime because it's so dry here. But just know you need to invest in lotion and lip balm and drink lots of water, stay hydrated, and then you typically won't have too big of an issue. Just know that lotion is your friend. The number 14 thing on my list is people really miss the beach. And it's one thing I miss not being at the beach. However, when we were in Nashville for those years, we weren't near a beach there either. So you kind of, it's not as big of a deal, but you do miss the beach, even though when we lived in Southern California, we didn't go to the beach all that often. But just having it be that 20-minute drive away that you could go, even though we didn't go. So that's, I guess, some of what they're missing. Number 15 thing on my list is the LAX airport. A lot of people miss the easiness and where LAX flies. You can get super cheap flights, probably the cheapest flights you're going to fly anywhere from the LAX airport, and that's just due to the amount of travel that goes through that airport and that it's a major hub. But it's easy to fly to like Hawaii if you wanted to go. It saves you a bunch of time then from Utah. Just a ton of other things about the airport. However, I prefer the Salt Lake City airport. It's, the people there seem way more friendly. It's super nice, convenient to fly out of compared to LAX, but I like saving the money. Thank you for taking the time to watch my video today. I'd love to talk to you about making that move here to Utah or Salt Lake City. Any area you want to go, please give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, and let's get to it. Until next time, be rad.